Welcome everybody, it's episode number 3 of the Vandy vlog. I'm joined with the girl Ugly, the man, the myth, the legend Ugly, the man with the face paint Ugly, the man that is a former extreme vault champion Ugly. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Vandy. I am freaking psyched to be here.
And I am excited to have you as well. One of the first people I talked to about being on the Vandy vlog, and a lot to talk about. First, I'll start with this. You are, of course, one of the head trainers of Impact Pro Wrestling's training center, and you've been doing this for quite some time. What's it like for you to be training these young guys?
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I think it was a nice transition from, being an in-ring performer, which I still do on occasion, and then it just kind of fell into my lap. Really, I kept going to training even after I'd been doing shows after years after years after years. I kept going to training. I'm like, I just want to perfect my craft. I want to be able to, just constantly hone it and learn moves and just try to do the best that I can as a performer and, the moves and stuff. And it just slowly transitioned into me being hands-on and taking over for TS Aggressor, who still comes and he still, contributes, and it's great when he's there. But I'm the 9-to-5er. I'm there, pretty much every Saturday training guys, and I love it. And like TS Aggressor told me, he said the best way to learn something is to have to explain it to somebody else. So now after a couple years of training, I really feel that a lot of things I've really hammered out just from having to explain every detail into each move. It really embeds it in your brain when you have to tell it to somebody over and over and over again.
Well, especially now we got a lot of young guys coming in, and we have a couple girls as well, just learning from you and TS as well. What's been kind of your biggest learning point for you so far? What's something that you didn't know before you started training people that you know now?
Past jobs I've had, I've done training at jobs, so I kind of have always understood the concept of people learning at different rates, and sometimes there's things people just aren't going to get. So, really what I kind of learned a lot is when, I hate to say to give up, that's a terrible way of saying it, but there's always that thing in pro wrestling where if you can't do something, don't do it. Do something else. There's always a plan B. There's always something else that can be done. So you're training people and somebody doesn't quite get a move, doesn't quite get a transition or something like that. It's learning to say, all right, we've spent enough time on it. We'll move on. We can figure something else for you to do.
Now, on the last video we had Tyler Jones, who one of the guys that's training so far, one of the guys you've helped out a lot so far with training. Let's kind of dial it back a little bit. You were obviously once in that position as well, where you're fighting to get on a show, you're competing with all these guys around you. What was it like? What was it like for you, from your perspective? What was it like having to go through all that in the early stages of becoming Ugly?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, and a lot of guys that train probably feel the same way, is, you watch pro wrestling on TV and you've watched it for years and you're like, God, that looks like fun. I want to do that. And I went to training thinking, just doing the training stuff is so much fun. It'd be great to be on shows and in front of crowds, but just being in a ring itself and learning everything about, pro wrestling was great. Being in that spot though of kind of wanting to be on all the shows, and I remember an early speech that TS Aggressor made. He said, there's guys we're going to put on every show for various reasons. They're either super charismatic, they can do flippity-do shit, whatever reason. There's going to be guys we put on every show. And I'm like, God, that'd be great to be on every show. So I came up with the face paint. I came up with the name Ugly. Everybody's going to remember the name Ugly. If I'm a terrible wrestler, they're still going to remember me. And then the Ugly stick. I'm just like, how much gimmickry can I get in? Just in case I really suck, I might still get booked. But I just had fun with it from the start. And I thought, you know what? If I get booked, I get booked. If I don't, it's still fun either way. And I kind of hope, and I kind of think a lot of the newer guys still think the same way.
You mentioned the Ugly sticks, and we had to talk about this a while back. Me and I forget who else was in the conversation, but we talked. We're like, man, those Ugly sticks were such a great idea for the gimmick until you get hit with one of those damn things as you're walking out losing to Ugly in a match. I managed some guys against Bill many times, and next thing you know, I'm getting smacked on the way out by fans at fair shows around going over to Des Moines, and I'm like, those damn ugly sticks one day are gonna kill somebody. So now
I can't be held responsible for what the fans do with their souvenirs.
it's just your name's on it, but it's not you doing the action.
That's right.
I like it. I think it'll hold up in court. But now you're here, you're training, you're doing a lot of things. You got the ugly gimmick and everything. Where are you at now? I know you had hip surgery recently, and
yep.
Are you looking to get back in the ring? I mean, what are you thinking?
I never want to say I'm done. And even the great Johnny Fitness said, never say you're done, because you're gonna miss it. You're gonna want to come back. I absolutely do want to come back. I don't know if it's going to be like a full-time capacity. I mean, lately I've been doing some refereeing. Physically, I don't have doctor's clearance to do anything really in the ring. I am still recovering from the hip surgery, which, by the way, really sucks. I'm still in my 30s, and to have to say I had hip surgery, like, that's an old person thing. I'm not that old yet, but I would love. I mean, it's tough. I see all these, really, really old guys that have trouble letting go, and it's kind of like, I want to be at that point where sometime I can say I'm done, I did it, it was great, I can look back on it. But there's a huge part of me that's like, I'm going to do this till I die. But, physically, there's limitations.
Now, of course, you mentioned that doing it, don't go until you know it's time to go. I'll bring up this subject because I know you like talking about it, and I know it's very personal for you. You just had a child. Yep. Just had Harrison, right?
Harrison. Yep. Call him Hank.
Yep. Do you feel that there's going to come a day where you train?
It's funny, because as soon as we told everybody we're having a boy, they're like, oh my God, you can train him to wrestle. And it's kind of like, we don't really train guys until they're 18, and I would expect the same for, my son if he's interested in it. And I kind of did the math. I'm like, God, I'm going to be well into my 50s before he's 18. So as much as I would like to say, yes, I'm going to train him, by then I'll be pretty physically limited. So I would love it if he was a wrestler. I would do what I can with him, give him advice, and show him what I can when I'm that age. But I would love to. I don't know if I have the ability at that time.
How old is Harrison now?
He'll be 6 months in a couple weeks.
So in the 6 months that Harrison has been on Earth, what can you take from wrestling that you can use towards fatherhood?
That's a great question. I can body slam him pretty easily. No. Don't do that. Honestly, it's part of it is the training aspect, because you have to have a certain amount of patience for training. And it kind of transitions into having patience for a child. And I think having this kid is really, it hasn't really taught me patience. I think there's other things in my life, and being the age that I am has taught me to have the patience for having a kid. Everybody goes through it when the kid is kind of screaming and you're not sure what to do. And I'm good at not losing my cool. I just kind of hang with it. You try a couple things. Is he hungry? Is he sleepy? What is it? You kind of stick it out. And I really think, the training aspect of having patience for people has helped me have patience for a baby.
Alrighty, well, before we get out of here, got to do our cheap plugs. Where can people find you if they want to talk to Ugly, support Ugly, anything that is Ugly?
I would say first and foremost, come to a show, Impact Pro Wrestling. Granted, if I'm wrestling or not, I will probably be there. I am on Facebook under my real name, but, if you find wrestlers, chances are I'm friends with them. You can also friend me.
And ImpactProWrestling.com, or the Facebook page as well. Alrighty, thanks for joining us, Ugly. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Big time. Thanks for joining us on the program this week. Join us as we'll have more wrestlers, more wrestling coming on the way, right here on the Vandy Vlog. Boom, that's going to do it for episode number 3 with Ugly and Mike Vandy. We're done. Boom.